Well, hello everybody, I am JayLeonardJ, and today we are checking out the Pylon by KMA Machines. Well, if you got some nasty tone gremlins sneaking out of that amplifier of yours, say you have some buzzy single coil pickups, or you're going super high gain and you're getting a lot of buzz and hum in between your notes, or maybe you just want to have a little bit more separation when you're doing those chugs, a little bit more space in between your strums, a noise gate is definitely something you should be looking into. In fact, I think every gig bag should have a noise gate in there just in case. Really, really handy units. And I got a great one on the board today. This is the Pylon by KMA Machines. It looks really, really simple, but it's actually a very deep and powerful noise gate. Really quick, really responsive. You do have a send and return, so you can go 4-cable method with the effects loop in your amplifier. We'll dig into that just a little bit later. It also has a built-in boost, which is really, really handy. It just thickens up your tone in a lovely way, and there is a cut there if you want to get a little bit more pointed and in your face. This whole thing also has a transformer built in for impedance mismatches, as well as some subtle tone sweetening. It's a really lovely effect. And there's a myriad? Is it myriad? There's a myriad. That's the one. There's a myriad of really, really cool functions in here as well. So let's just dig into this pedal. We're going to start off simple, just really basic noise gating kind of things, and then we'll just build from there. I'm going to use a Friedman Vintage S, and for the amplifier, I'm going to use this 5150, which I got actually from my friends down at Rufus Guitar Shop. Thank you guys. Really excited to play this amplifier. So let's plug this thing in, make some noise. Before we get into the more advanced ways of hooking up this pedal, let's start off with just the good old-fashioned, straightforward method, and that is guitar. I got my fuzz, chief disruptor, kind of like a Big Muff Pie thing, going into the Pylon, just right into the input of it, and then output into the amplifier. Now, all it does is it's a gate, so it gets rid of all of the noise, those little hums and stuff in between my playing. So if I turn on my neck pickup, you can hear there's a little 60 cycle hum. I just have to turn the threshold till it goes away. I have 2 ranges. I'm going to keep it in the high, which I find is really nice for subtle kind of tweaks, just to get rid of some of those extraneous noises. And then the low is good for nice broad strokes for some heavy gating. So let's turn it on and let's make that hum go away. There you go. You see that LED change color? That means we're good to go. And you'll see when it opens, the color changes again. And you hear my noise is just gone? This is off, on, off. So it's a nice gentle thing, but when you start piling on the gain, you're gonna see this thing comes in really, really handy. This is the chief disruptor with the pedal off. And there we go. Now let's go into the higher setting, the low, and let's turn it on. And you see how it just kills that noise. Now I got some really tight sound. That's really cool. Nice and tight, and you hear it's dead quiet. This is with the pedal off, pedal on. Now, there is actually some tone sweetening going on. There's a transformer in here that just kind of smooths out my tone. It feels a little bit different, has a nice kind of more tactile response, but it's a subtle thing, but it's a nice little bonus. But this is where things get kind of fun. There's a boost function here. Right now, when I turn it on or off, you're not going to hear any boost. I can have it so the boost is always on. And let's turn on the boost here. So even when it's on or off, the boost is on. And I got a whopper of a boost. And that's like 30 dBs of boost. And again, it's still dead quiet. Now we have a cut over here, and that just cuts away some of the low end, kind of gets rid of some of the muck, especially if I'm going really heavy with the gain on this thing. And as I get to the top, we get like a little bit of a presence hump too. Now I can have that boost again on all the time. I actually kind of like it on all the time. Just a little bit goes a long way. Or we could have it off the whole time, which I never really do. The other way I do it is with the sync, and that means when I turn off the pedal, the boost is off and I have the hum. Then when I turn it on, I get the boost and the gate. Awesome. Now that we've got some of the basic features of this setup figured out, let's go into the more advanced part of this pedal. There's some really cool stuff going on over here. We're going to start over here with these two cables. This is a send and return. There's a loop in this pedal, and what that means is if I have some like certain noisy pedals, I could actually put them into this loop and have it so that the gate is only affecting those specific noisy pedals. Everything else is untouched, which is really nice. I could just target the sound where it matters the most. But for me, the best way, in my opinion, to deal with this loop is actually in conjunction with this amp to really quiet the amp. When we plug the guitar into the pedal and the pedal into the amp, if we have a noisy amp, the gate's not going to do anything. But if we go in a 4-cable method, we can get rid of the noise from this amp. And the way we do it is my guitar goes into the in, the send goes into the input of the amp, the return goes into the effects loop send, and the out goes into the effects loop return. And all of a sudden, I am now going to be able to get rid of the noise of this amp. So if I turn off the threshold, that's the hum that this amp is creating. My volume is off on the guitar. This is just the lead channel on its own. So let's just dial it out. And all of a sudden, I've just gated the lead channel. And dead quiet right after that. Now, not only that, we've been able to quiet the amplifier, we have another trick up its sleeve. And you see I have another cable going into the channel button. I have a 2-channel amp. And instead of using the foot switch to change it, I could actually use this pedal to switch my channel. So when I press the button, I go to the clean channel and the gate is off. So I'm on the clean channel. I have full dynamic range with the hum.
And then when I press this button again, I'm gonna go into the lead channel with the gate on. The last function we're going to look at with this pedal is the external control. Now there's two modes you can operate this thing in. One is bypass mode, which means I could just leave this thing on top of the amp, hook up a foot switch like this to it, and then I could turn it on and off with the foot switch, really handy. And the other thing I can do with it is set it to trigger mode. And when it's in trigger mode, that means the gate is not triggered by my strumming. It's actually triggered by anything. I could actually hook this thing up to a drum machine. I could hook it up to the click. I could hook it up to the kick drum so it'll kind of pulse with the beat. Actually, right now I have it hooked up to this foot switch on the ground. So when I turn it on, it keeps the gate open. And then when I release it, it closes it for some really nice, slicey, rhythmic sounds. And that is the Pylon by KMA Machines. Well, that is it. That is the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the page if you haven't done so already. Check out the links in the description below. And if you want to hear my review on the Pylon, check it out on Patreon. I do all my reviews on Patreon, sponsored by those Patreon supporters, and all my demos, tutorials, everything else. It's right here on YouTube. My question for the subscribers out there today is, who's using a noise gate? How many of you actually have a noise gate on your board, are using it for musical purposes to create gating effects, or are using it just to tame some noises? Or do you just keep your noise gate like in your little gig bag just in case you go to a really, really buzzy venue or something like that? Please let me know. I'm curious to hear how many of you out there are rocking these little boxes. That being said, I'll see you all soon. Take care and goodbye.